Hey everyone, super excited to be here. By far, I think this is the largest audience I've presented to, so this is a little too crazy. Um, so my name is Michael. I lead DeFi growth at the Celo Foundation, and for today's talk, I'll be covering all things Stake Cello, what it is, how it fits as an integral piece in our DeFi Flywheel, governance, as well as future decentralization efforts in our network. For folks who aren't familiar, Celo is an Ethereum L2 built for real-world use cases, focused on facilitating fast, low-cost payments worldwide. And what is Stake Cello? Stake Cello is Celo's open source, non-rebasing liquid staking token. It's built as a public good by the Celo Labs team, essentially allowing folks to stake, earn, and stay liquid at the same time. Stake Cello being a non-rebasing liquid staking token means that yield and rewards accrue automatically every 24-hour epoch. You can stake anytime, 3-day withdrawal period. And the best of all, because it's a public good, built by Celo Labs, there is zero protocol fees, meaning 100% of rewards goes back to Stake Cello holders. In terms of the existing UI, there's a dedicated website, stacecelo.xyz, where folks can take their Celo and deposit in exchange for Stake Cello. So has a dedicated widget here, as you can see, in terms of the user interface. Now, what we've realized is that there's huge opportunities to get Stake Cello further energized into our Celo ecosystem, which we're super excited for. Two main tracks. The first track is really embedding Stake Cello across all our tier 1 DeFi tech stack. For instance, getting Stake Cello deep DEX liquidity on Uniswap, V4, expanding it as a Stake Cello collateral for our lending markets, and very soon, in the coming months, we'll have our perpetual exchange and prediction markets, where it will also be accepted as a collateral, which is pretty unique. The second track is streamlining that user experience for Stake Cello, especially on the governance front. So as I mentioned before, Stake Cello has a dedicated user experience and website for staking Celo, but at the same time, we also have Celo Mondo, which is our native governance hub where folks go there to delegate and vote for governance proposals. So moving forward in the next coming weeks, we'll be shifting Stake Cello onto Celo Mondo, so it's a one-stop shop essentially. Folks can liquid stake, manage, delegate, and soon vote for validators all in one place, and hopefully improving that user experience and decreasing user drop-off, and hopefully increasing the participation rate for Celo and Stake Cello holders. Now, probably wondering, why does Stake Cello really matter strategically for our ecosystem? There's really two pieces to this that we're super excited for. Firstly, of course, it's the capital efficiency and DeFi engine point of view. Stake Cello, because it's a yield-bearing asset, inherently creates this risk-free rate that makes capital a lot more efficient in our DeFi stack. We're hoping that this will also wake up a lot of more passive Celo holders to, hey, notice that there's some yield on chain and actually convert to Stake Cello and make their asset actually more productive. The other aspect is that with Stake Cello here, embedded especially as a collateral for a lending market, that's when you open up that famous recursive looping trade. For those who are Celo bulls and hopefully new Celo bulls here that are walking away after this talk, this allows you to essentially create recursive looping opportunities. So think about how you could have Stake Cello as collateral, borrow against and borrow Celo, take that Celo, put it in as Stake Cello as collateral again, and then do recursive looping and so forth. This essentially allows you to get to 6 to 7 or more X leverage in terms of your original Stake Cello collateral exposure. On the other side of front is all about governance and decentralization, right? Ideally, this will allow us to get more Celo holders to become Stake Cello holders, and in turn, get more active voices in the room. Whether it's responding in our governance forums or publishing new forums themselves, we just want more diverse views for deciding on our ecosystem roadmap, and of course, more participation as well in quorum for governance votes as well. And inherently, because we'll have more Stake Cello being staked, then that also means that we'll have a wider set of validators, asterisks, being decentralized in our network. And I put an asterisk on validators because the fact that because Celo is an L2 earlier this year, our validators are effectively in a transition period where they are acting as public RPC infra. But very soon in this transition period, we're getting to the point where these validators are going to be our decentralized sequencers for the network. So having a broader set of validators means a broader set of decentralized sequencers as well in the future. And then lastly, I know I've been pretty conceptual on how Stake Cello is going to be embedded in the DeFi stack. So I have a little neat diagram here on how Stake Cello is going to play as that core DeFi primitive, right? So we'll have that deep DEX liquidity for Celo and Stake Cello pairs, deep concentrated liquidity depth that feeds into very large supply and borrow caps that can be borrowed against. in our lending market, allowing you to unlock that key recursive looping trade. But you can also take Stake Cello and borrow a bunch of stables if you want, which will funnel as key collateral assets for our upcoming perpetual and prediction markets. And ideally, traders would recycle those wins from those prediction and perpetual markets back to either deeper liquidity indexes or back to our lending protocol, and essentially creating a reinforcing positive flywheel loop for our ecosystem. So in summary, Stake Cello acts as a key DeFi engine primitive for our ecosystem, increases governance participation, as well as sets us up well for our decentralization of our sequencers in the coming months. And that concludes the presentation. Thank you for listening to the case study on Stake Cello, and happy staking, everyone. Thank you.